So hello soldatans and welcome to this video. Today we will discuss which mortar is currently the best mortar in the game. So quick notes, we won't discuss any mortars which are available through the commanders, and we will not discuss the mortar which is being used by the Brits, because that is more of an emplacement, a building, rather than a mortar. It would be like to put a Wehrmacht bunker in a comparison with the MGs. Also, just to mention that small artillery calibers won't be included, backpack howitzers and a field gun. So let's get on. We have three mortars which we will discuss. We have a German Wehrmacht Gewehr mortar, we have a Soviet 82mm mortar, and we have the USA 81mm mortar. So we will have several categories which we will mention, which will be included in decisioning which mortar is the best, if it is possible to decide. Before we mention the areas in which we can make a differences, I will just mention few things which are same for every mortar included. So first one is that they all have the same range, more or less. The range is same and damage is the same. So damage is 160 and the splash damage is 80 for all of the mortars. And their range is same. So once we put that, now we can move forward to main area of our discussion, and that are the numbers and differences in the field. First thing which we will speak about will be rate of fire. So rate of fire will be seen through a circle. So round per circle. Let's call it a circle. So circle has time in which you fire and time how much it takes you to reload, to recharge. During one circle, each mortar fires 4 shells. So remember that. Circle is a one round in which mortar fires 4 shells, and that time includes the firing time and the reload time. Okay. So when it comes to fire, so they all in general will fire 7.25 shells per circle. How did we manage to get on that number? Well, I just counted the time you need to circle, time to reload, and time to fire. The main difference comes with the first round. So during the fire period, during the fire time, German mortar will fire 4 rounds in 16 seconds and it will reload for 15 seconds. So time which he needs to fire 4 shells is 16 seconds. After that we have a Soviet mortar, and it takes him about 24 seconds to fire. And that is a pretty long time. So the Soviet takes 24 seconds to fire 4 shells. USA takes 11 to 13 seconds to fire 4 shells. So just by looking at this rate of fire in that area of the first round, so the firing circle, half circle, the US is the most rapid firing and the one with the biggest firepower. That comes with the backlash. So now we move to accuracy. The German mortar, after testing, will hit 3 out of 4 times its target. So I tested target, we put a bunker and the mortar fired at it. The Wehrmacht will hit 3 out of 4 times that building. Soviet will hit also about 3 out of 4 times that building, but it is a little bit more reliable than the Wehrmacht. While the USA will hit 2 out of 4 times that same building. So over here we see that longer time which is needed for a mortar crew to reload is actually being paid off now. When we take a look at the arcs, the more that arc has the pointers on its edges, the more time the mortar will reload, and that way it will be a little bit accurate. After mentioning the rate of fire and accuracy, we can speak about some cool abilities which can be used with the mortar. One of the abilities is the smoke screen. So when we are to use a smoke screen, we want to cover as much as we can so that our troops can move easily without any opposition by covering their advance. Here the USA has a clear advantage. So the USA is a type of mortar which will provide you with the best cover, while the Soviet is the one with the least cover it will provide. After that, after smoke ability, we can mention the veterancy, which is also an important part of mortar. So on veterancy 1, all of these mortars will get a different ability, while on veterancy 2 and 3 they'll all get the same. So let's mention the same abilities they'll all get. Those abilities are passive abilities. They will give them rate of fire and range, while the first ability for Wehrmacht will give a counter fire. For Soviets it will give a flare, and for the USA it will give another passive which will lower the scatter of the mortar. So we can see that we have Wehrmacht, which is giving them a passive active ability. For Soviets, you get active and passive abilities, and for the USA, you get all passive abilities. Also to mention that Wehrmacht has a 4-man squad, Soviets has 6-man, and USA have 4, and that the USA mortar costs 260, while other mortars cost 240. So after watching at these numbers and after seeing the performance of each of these mortar, there isn't a clear, let's say, winner and the clear sight on which mortar is the best. I mean, each one of these mortar is the best in a specific situation you want them to be. And to be honest, I mean, each and one of them is specialized in doing something. I mean, the most agile one, and in my opinion, the overall mortar is the Wehrmacht one. But the most defensive one, and one which can be used the most effectively to counter defensive positions or to defend a defensive position, can be a Soviet, while the most firepower will come from the USA. So as we told, every one of them is specialized for some tasks or let's say even factions. The Wehrmacht one is perfectly suited to fight against the Brits or to fight against the Soviets, because I mean you have that buildings which the Wehrmacht mortar can accurately fire at, and it can also be useful against the Russian blobs because it is not a small arc. When it comes to the Russian one, it's perfectly suited to fight against the Wehrmacht. I mean, Wehrmacht has bunkers, they have the MG42s, and it is perfectly suited to counter those small targets which need a pinpoint accuracy. On the other hand, we have a USA mortar, which is perfectly suited to fight against the Oberkommando West, as that was their front. Oberkommando West with its huge HQ, their huge building, which are not that easy to miss, and some Volksgrenadier spam is pretty damn good. So if you are to ask me, Soviet mortar is the best for pinpoint accuracy and defensive positions. Wehrmacht is the best for mobile firing and mobile support, while the USA is, in my opinion, one of the best for the blobs. So in the end, there isn't the best mortar which we can with definite sure say yes, that one is the best. But if I am to pick one mortar which is, let's say, performing fairly in all of the aspects, then that would be Wehrmacht mortar with his great ass abilities. So I hope that you guys enjoyed in this video. If you liked it, press that like button so I know, and I will make some more, of course. You can also leave an opinion down below telling me what do you think, which one is the best, and you can tell me what do you think, what else should we compare and make a decision. So thank you guys and see ya.